I got all this. As this starts, thank you for Thank you for listening to Bridges Live. I'm Dr. Paul Dyer. I'm going to talk to Jujitsu Grandma Elaine Wynn. And as the other social media stuff pops on, I just want to say welcome to all my listeners and all my sponsors and the people who support the Bridges Live and what I do here. Because what I do here is so much, and it's really about giving information, giving an understanding, and hopefully that brings people into an action. As you can, and those are the three things I think are so important in life. If you understand something, if you get informed, then you can have a choice. I think so many people don't have choices because they either was not informed or they don't understand what they were taught. So, without further ado, Miss Elaine, thank you for joining me and for Bridges Live. So give us a little bit. People were wondering, like, Dr. Paul, you haven't had a martial arts conversation in a long time. And that's because most of my friends are like, we're just too old. We don't want to talk around anymore on camera. So your story's amazing. That's why I was just hunting you down. But please tell your story.
You wanted to know how I got started in jiu-jitsu?
The whole bit. I mean, jiu-jitsu, martial arts. I mean, come on. I mean, did you drive by the jiu-jitsu center and say, you know what? I'm going to do this. Because some of your... and congratulations on your recent tournament win.
Well, I didn't win it. I lost in Pan Am's. I got killed.
Yeah.
But hey, I stayed 5 minutes on the mat.
Woo! There it is. So tell us about your journey.
I actually took a judo course when I was about 21 while my husband was in graduate school. It was about 6 classes. It was a lot of fun, but when I got back to Birmingham, nobody was teaching it. And I didn't like karate and that sort of thing, so I just let it go. Well, if you skip about 50-something years, I was 69, and somebody walked into PetSmart in a gi, and I was there, and I said, you do martial arts? And she said, well, I do jiu-jitsu. And I went, well, I like judo first, better. And she said, well, they teach judo at my gym. And I went, really? So I called the gym. I said, do you take old people? And they said, how old? I said, 69. She went, let me go ask the professor. So they went and asked Professor Khalifa, and he said, sure, let her come. So my first class was a judo class. And I had teenage boys on one side and guys that looked like they played for the NFL on the other side of me. And me in the middle, 69-year-old little old lady. So I had a really good time, and I hung in with it. And Professor kept saying, don't hurt her. I get hurt. But after a few weeks, he asked me to try the jiu-jitsu, which was the next man over. Mm-hmm. He taught both classes. So I did judo for, 1 day a week, and then I'd move over and do jiu-jitsu, which I found I really liked also. So I sort of stuck more with the jiu-jitsu, even though I still take a little judo also when it's offered. I like the fun.
So without getting into the specifics of martial arts, because I really want to talk to people who are afraid to do. Because this had to have been something, because like you said, this was something you were always interested in. But there are people who probably come up to you now and say, my gosh, like, how do you, thank you for doing it, and all the accolades because it's so, to me, I love my martial science. I love what I do, and it's passionate. But for people on the other side of the fence, they're just not understanding it. Is there a way you could talk to them about that?
Doctor, I think you have to have a certain mindset to like jiu-jitsu. It's a fighting sport. If you don't like close personal contact and physical fighting, you're not going to like jiu-jitsu. It's great to get you in shape and help your mind, because it's a lot of mental, as you know. Mm-hmm. It's a mental game as well as a physical. But most of my friends, that just does not click for them. They don't want to be fighting. I do. I like that. So it's lost one or two women who said, I would actually enjoy that, but maybe because of serious physical conditions at their age, they cannot do it. Now, I have a lot of physical problems, but I do it anyway.
So, do you think, have you thought about this? I know you're still in your young journey, right? How long have you been taking jiu-jitsu now? Or how long have you been doing the class?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. So, yeah, you're very young in what you call the development of it, right? Very young. Yeah. Can you see yourself teaching ladies of your age and older and modify it for them because they would be comfortable learning from you?
I hadn't thought about that, but that would be interesting. I did. I was on a horseback riding camping trip a few days ago, and I did a short self-defense course with my lady friends because most of them don't even know how to make a good fist.
Right.
So it was just a very general. This is what you might do if you get attacked in a parking lot, just to keep their brain intact so they can think.
Yes.
And not panic.
Yeah.
But if I got better at this, I'm not. You know how the journey is.
Yes.
It's a long journey. It's a long journey.
But we're not. I think for communities, and it's tough to be for the elder crowd, men and or women. You're an asset, and the asset's not just hearing you but seeing you. And that's why I wanted to have you on, because seeing you and hearing you, it's even more, my heart is just like singing, because I think about my mom. And I was telling you off air before we got on air, my mom was a martial arts passionist. Growing up with my mom before she died, and how much she loved what I did, and she practiced Tai Chi and the arts and things like that. And she just immensely loved martial arts and the movies, and she got to meet some of the people I've known throughout my life, and stars that have been on the big screen have called my mom and things like that. So she was just like, but people still give up so easily on their own mental self. And we know in this COVID, and I hope you're safe, I'm glad you're staying safe, I'm glad you're staying healthy. In this term of COVID, people are mentally broken. And like you said, it's a mental mindset. And the only way we can change mental mindset is to develop mental strength. And that's through the martial sciences and the martial arts. So why wouldn't, to me, it's like, why wouldn't you not want to do this? You know what I mean? But, so can you speak to that?
I would like to if I felt like I was qualified to do it. My gym did teach a few self-defense classes for women, but they did it in the jiu-jitsu framework, so they were running around the mat to warm up and doing jumping jacks and all that. My friends couldn't do that.
Right.
They could understand the self-defense, like I did at the camp, but they couldn't do all the warm-ups and that jiu-jitsu requires. So I would certainly like them to move toward just a self-defense for older women.
I've been teaching self-defense for women, and me and my friends do all over the country, all over the world. And I think we can modify education depending on the audience, right? And for me, the way I teach everything is that I got to talk to your mind first. And I got to understand where your heart is. Because even though you walk through the door, your mind has to change about what you think this is and what you think you are. Because if that doesn't change, I don't care what you learn on a physical level, it's not going to work for you.
Yeah.
Because if you keep giving up in your mind, techniques don't work. And if you keep trying to pound a square in a square in a round hole and not know how to be flexible and to be fluid, it's not going to work. And that's how I know our social systems has rigid people so much. So in your 60 plus years, how did you stay so fluid in your thinking before even going onto the mat?
I'm going to have to to say a lot of that was because of my husband.
Okay.
My daddy was a very women did this and men did that sort of thing. But when I married my husband, he was pretty much whatever you want to do, Elaine, just go ahead and do it. So I was mowing the lawn while he was vacuuming the house. I was putting together the swing set, sort of thing. There were no, this is a girl thing and this is a guy thing. So when I started this, he was pretty much, hey, you want to do it, go ahead. He was an athlete, very good one. And so he encouraged that for me.
So that's amazing, because, we tend to think that we do this by ourselves, and we don't. We don't live in a vacuum. And and I like to say thank you for your husband, Mr. Wynn, for not allowing you, but loving you. Because love allows you to be. And doesn't have to be whatever. It just allows you to be. And so that love, so one of those things I think constriction has is a love. Love doesn't confine you. It does not bind you. It allows you to be. And his love just kept you being, which allowed you to seek the arts. And so you're just a jewel of the art, and I'm glad you're here. And you stay as long as you like, and here into the afterlife, of course. But I hope women, men, specifically women, I tell you that, because men have their own other issues. They really do. Their machoism is killing them. It just is. But women with this, I'm not sure if I can. That's not for me. Those things are so blocking. And so how does the jiu-jitsu help you get over those locks? I'm using a metaphor of locks.
I'm not sure I ever had them. I had two older brothers who tended to knock me around a lot. They were very roughhousing. So I was inclined to like boy things. I wanted to go play football and climb trees. I didn't want to play with dolls. I didn't care about dresses and being fancy. So luckily I married a man who was equally, good about that. It was hard on my mother because I'm a very dainty woman, and she was hoping for a nice dainty little daughter, and that's not what she got. I was little, but I was sort of tough.
So, talk about the Pan Am Games. Tell me about how the jittery feels and how it felt to you when you entered the Pan Am Games, when you stepped on the mat. Let's talk through a match for us a little bit.
Well, I was fighting a lady named Mary Lee, and she was just a delight. Wonderful lady. She was about 9 years younger than me and outweighed me by about 25 pounds. I had to move up in weight to fight her. So I knew this was going to be difficult. We had an idea that she would probably pull guards, so I worked on that with my professor saying, you need to do this, 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 and this. But when I got on the mat, I didn't do any of it. I got killed. She got me in a chokehold from the back, and she was pulling really hard, and the pressure busted my lip.
Okay.
And so they stopped the mat to clean the blood off my face and hands. And then they started again. So I never really got away from her. I couldn't get her off of me. The weight, and she was really strong too. But I was determined not to give up. I don't give up easily. I'm going to hang in no matter what. So it was really a fun time. It was nice meeting her, and everybody was so nice. I met a lot of bigger people in the community. Kendall, who's won, 7 world champions, and Cyborg.
Yeah.
I wanted to get his autograph. I was impressed.
So, most people think when they go through something, and I don't know, and I've said this for so many years, that martial arts sciences is the only thing that teaches you from all levels of life. It's the only thing that attacks all levels of life. Not just perseverance and courage and mental strength. It actually helps you dissolve all your spiritual thoughts that you had about something for you to be fluid with everything. It just helps you move through life with such a intention. And I love that. There's not just me, but there's been a thing about teaching this in schools from the low grades all the way up. Because if we did this, and people think, well, it's about fighting, it's about this. You're missing 90% of what this all is, of what it has been for centuries. You're missing all of it if you think it's only the physical. Because when you're in the grip and when you're in a bind, like you said, you have to stay conscious. You have to stay thinking. You have to stay in love with what you are. Because that's the art.
True. It teaches you not to panic in serious situations.
How does your grandkids feel about this? Since you have Jujitsu Grandma as your title, you must have grandkids. So how many grandkids do you have?
I have 7 grandkids. 3 of them have actually taken a class. My little 8-year-old grandson would probably, and is interested in starting back maybe in January. The timing was not good at the time he took his first class. The other 2, one is in college. She's too busy. She's a track athlete. And the other one just really didn't like the jiu-jitsu. He didn't like it, which I was disappointed.
Martial arts and martial sciences, it's like reading. If you don't like reading, you just haven't found a book you like.
Right.
And that's all it is. Because I'll say that about wine, or I say because if I don't drink wine, you just haven't found, because there's so many types of wines or books that you just haven't found a genre or something you like to read, because it's there. And I understand that depending on where you live and how busy you are, it's tough for you to look until it just descends upon you. But again, I like to say thank you so much for joining me here on Bridges Live. Jujitsu Grandma, where can they find you so they can follow you now? I know you're on Instagram.
That's really the only place, even though my grandkids told me that if you Google Jujitsu Grandma, a variety of stuff comes up about me. I did not know that. They're technically proficient and I'm not.
So
mainly on Instagram, it'd be Jujitsu Grandma.
So what would you like to say to 60 plus, 60 under women, men, people who just have that I'm not sure if I can thought mentality? What would you like to talk to them about? What would you like to say to them?
I don't think you're ever too old to learn something new. Mm-hmm. And it's good for you mentally and physically to try new things, to do new things, because I don't want to waste my last years sitting in front of a TV on this earth. I want to be doing something, and I think it atrophies your brain if you're not, So for all of those, even if it's just not martial arts, they need to learn to play the piano, pick up something new to stimulate their brain and their interest, to make things fun. I have a really fun life because of jiu-jitsu and, horseback riding, and my grandkids. I love my grandkids. They're great fun.
So you're in Alabama, and I'm in what you call a Northeastern, right? And I'm a Big Ten guy, so I have to ask, because this goes right into football. I think everything is football, but so is it Roll Tide or what?
War Eagle.
Okay.
Even though we're probably not going to win another game.
No.
My son ran my husband ran track for Auburn.
Okay.
And my son did go down there also, so we're big War Eagle fans.
Okay.
In Alabama, you got to be one.
You got to be one or the other. So I figured you were either Tide or you're Eagle. So
That's exactly right.
Well,
we're serious about our football down here.
Yeah, it is. It is the first thing on the language of it's everything, right? So go War Eagle. Many blessings, Elaine, and I just wish you all. And please, let's stay in touch. You can always come back on to Bridges Live with me, and just to talk about. I love talking about martial arts, and you are an inspiration. I just want to let you know that. So thank you for all your blessings.
Thank you so much for having me. It was wonderful meeting you. I was looking forward to this very, very much.
Thank you.
So thank you for that very much.
You have a blessed evening, blessed day, blessed life, and roll all you can, right? Just roll and go. Roll and go.
God bless you.
God bless.
Take care.
So I want to thank everyone for listening to Bridges Live. We were talking to Miss Elaine Wynn, and we were talking to Jujitsu Grandma. You can always reach on Instagram on Jujitsu Grandma and catch up, watch her. Oh, she's amazing. And to let you know that you can do it. And you're never too old. That's one of those signs that she has in the back of her thing. You're never too old or never too late. So please don't confine yourself to restrictions or confinements of what you think people think you should be or what you think you should be. Open that up and you'll live a beautiful life like Miss Elaine Wynn. Thank you so much. Everyone have a blessed day.